It's time to take your business to the next level, the boss level. These are the premier business owner strategies and successes being utilized by the industry's top talent today. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss. Now let's welcome your host, Ganguzza.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ganguzza, along with my extra special good friend, guest co-host, Miss Kesha Monk. Hey Kesha.
Me? Are you talking about me?
I am.
Hey. Wow. Thanks, Ann, for having me on. This is awesome. Awesome.
Hey, happy 2021. I am manifesting an amazing year because,
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of manifesting a great year, we want our listeners to have a great year too. I know that last time when we spoke, we were talking about Kesha's everyday life and voiceover. I know that you're doing a lot of commercial and promo and live announce gigs these days. And I believe a lot of those require an agent. So I thought it'd be a good time to actually talk about agents post-pandemic. Oh my God, that was a lot of P's. Let's hope I didn't make my editor's life miserable. But post-pandemic, what about agents now? What roles do they play in our business? What roles do they play in your business? Should we have one? Should we not have one? What are your thoughts, Kesha?
Right. Well, let me preface this by saying that what works for me may not necessarily work for you. I'm excited about sharing my experience. And of course, I guess I should also say the views and opinions are not necessarily those of Ann Ganguzza and the VO Boss podcast. But I'm always excited about sharing my experiences. And if that will encourage or inspire you to, change up your journey, that's all well and good, but I'm just here to share. Yeah. So where do you want me to start?
Well, I know that a lot of talent, that's like one of the biggest questions is like, how do I get an agent? And I think that there's probably, I guess when starting out, there might be some misinformation about, so agents serve particular genres better than others, I would say. Mostly because they are a business, right? So agents need to make money just like we all need to make money. And so therefore, they're going to serve the genres that will probably make them some money, right? So they can succeed in their business. And so a lot of times when students are asking me, well, I need an agent. And I'm like, well, okay, so the majority of your work might not be, agent specific. So you don't have to be that, you don't have to get into having an agent right away. Right. Most agents are looking for people that have a track record underneath them and been able to book certain genres. And then they might look into that. But that is only a portion, my experience, is only a portion of how you get your business.
Right. And, it's funny. I was looking at a couple of pictures that we took when we first met, and you were introduced to me as like the social media maven. It is in your veins to hustle. Your hustle is a little bit different than most, where I think self-marketing and going and getting these jobs,
true,
that's a huge component of what you do. That as far as I'm concerned, that's really not an ideal approach for me. I don't know. I get tired easily and I get discouraged easily. So if I email somebody and they don't email me back saying, yes, take this 5-figure job, it just takes a different kind of skin, I guess. But that doesn't mean that I haven't done it, though. You were going to say it's
tough to market yourself. And that's why agents are great, but I think that they're only a small portion of the solution depending on the genres that you excel at or work in. And I'm not saying small. They could be, for somebody that books commercial work regularly, they can be amazing, or promo work. And I think that would be an integral part of your relationship in terms of getting getting jobs in the voiceover market. So I just happen to be noticing that you're doing a lot of work that probably requires an agent, right? These days?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it hasn't been easy. As a matter of fact, Anne, I would say over the past year or two, I just felt like I wanted to relaunch my career. I needed to reset. And so I fired my agent, and that's a story within itself. I had an agent, an excellent, kind of well-known New York agent, as a matter of fact. And I decided to separate myself from that agency. And then I decided to reset, meaning I wanted to make sure that my space was impeccable. I wanted to make sure that I could I just didn't go and spend $2,000 on a new microphone. I wanted to make sure that that microphone complemented my voice.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure that my social media presence was up to par. I relaunched my website. I made sure that simple things like I just wanted to make sure my email signature looked professional. And then I kind of rolled up my sleeves, and this will happen in 2021. I'm going to get the agent of my choice. I'm not just necessarily going to put myself out on the, laundry line and say, hey, come and get me. No, I'm going to do my research. I want to see or learn or research rather the agency that I believe that would work best for me.
Sure. Well, it is all about the relationship.
It totally is. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to provide a little bit of insight, is that,
I know a lot of people who think that agents, it's their job to get me jobs. And they're not really thinking about their relationship with their agent and if it's serving them or not. I mean, to me, it's a business relationship, and you're both out there to make money for each other. And I think if you don't have that mentality, or if you find that perhaps I have to say, you just stopped me in my tracks when you said you fired your agent. Not that I'm going to make that to be a big dramatic thing, but that is something that doesn't happen every day. So, Kesha, tell me, that must have been some really deep diving into okay, how is this agent serving me? And if not, I have to do something different. So tell me about that.
First of all, it's so painful. When you say it like that, I'm like, wow, I really did fire my agent. It's something that I mulled over for months. It's something that I didn't talk to anyone about. Usually I try to get advice, from, various colleagues in my circle to try to figure out. I didn't tell anybody because that sounds so taboo. You fired your agent?
It does. It really does.
It was painful to do it. And I mentioned to you before, a couple of minutes ago, they were a New York, everybody.
Yeah, it's a big agent, right?
Exactly.
Major market
Everybody
agent.
wants a big agent. Yeah,
Everybody
exactly.
wants a big agent.
Everybody does. And they were pretty big. They were pretty big. Hugely successful. Actually, it was an agency that initially started out with TV and print, and then they ended up developing a voiceover division, and I was a part of that rollout. But the bottom line was this. I really didn't book much, and I didn't feel that they had my best interest at heart, if that makes any sense. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Best interest at heart.
It does. Well, I mean, it has to be. There's one thing to be on a roster, right? And to be a listed name or on a roster because I don't know why. If they're looking for a diverse range of talent, right? That's my understanding is that agents want to have, a set of different sounding voices for all needs. And
absolutely.
To get on that roster is great, but sometimes you're not served on that roster. Either they're not.
It's not enough.
Either they don't have the networking connections or clients there that are demanding a style that maybe you're providing, or they're not out searching for it. Because I feel again, as I mentioned, it's kind of a two-way street. I mean, you work for each other. And so
absolutely.
If perhaps you felt like they weren't working best for you, then I think it might be time for you to maybe look for something different.
But here's the thing. I just didn't wake up one day and say, you know what?
I'm going to fire my agent.
I'm going to fire my agent. And, I'd had to do a lot of soul searching. I started, looking at myself like,
Sure.
do I suck that badly that I cannot book a single gig with them? And I talked to my agent. A lot of us, as voiceover talent, we just kind of we're on these rosters. We have an agent and
we
we're
get
just
the emails.
Right. We get the emails,
Yep.
but there's it was very, very important to me to humanize, and it's always important to humanize my relationship with my agent. And so I didn't wait for them to just send me auditions. I always, every Monday, hey, how's it going? Thanks for, submitting my name for this, that, and a third. And then once I started noticing a pattern of me not really being able to book, I reached out. I said, here are 3 auditions that I really thought I rocked out on. Can you give me a little bit of feedback? Can you tell me,
nice.
critique me?
Yeah.
Because I truly appreciate being on your roster. I realize that it is truly a privilege. I want to make you proud of me. I want you, to tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Sure. And I think first of all, I want to stop you right there and say, I think everybody listening to this needs to do that, needs to connect with their agent periodically, not every day, but periodically to make sure that you are providing what they expect, they're getting what they expect. It's just good sense what you did. To call up and say, look, here I am. What can I do? Give me feedback. How can we make this work better? So
my goal every single day when I wake up in the morning is to grow. No matter what I'm dealing with, besides voiceover, I want to grow in every single aspect of my life. And I don't want to, I don't even really know how to explain. I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the right things in her opinion, in their opinion. Especially since when she kind of touted herself to be a voiceover coach. So if you're a coach, you should be able to kind of tell me if I'm doing anything wrong.
Teach
a
and
lot
lead
of
and
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I had to realize, really, it wasn't that I wasn't talented enough, and it wasn't even necessarily true that I was being rejected. I wasn't being selected, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, she didn't really have any great feedback. She just, and I'm sorry. I gotta put this in there. You know what happened after I reached out to her and made it known? I started booking. Actually.
Oh, really?
I started
Very interesting.
It was strange. I don't even know how to really necessarily explain it, but I have to acknowledge that after we had that, exchange, I started booking a little more, which is weird. And I still ended up firing them.
It's weird, but it's good though.
Yeah, it proves
that it had an effect. It proves that you need to connect with your agent.
You have to humanize that relationship.
You have to humanize it, and I completely agree. I mean,
top of mind.
My agent in LA, I am periodically, every once in a while, I'm like, hey, so something other than work. Even I'm trying to connect on a level like, how's the dog, or that sort of thing. And hey, I know you must be crazy busy, and just my goodness, just on a different level, just connecting and calling up and making sure things are good. And hey, haven't heard from you or haven't gotten any auditions in a while. And especially during this pandemic. I mean,
absolutely.
Have you noticed I have a few agents, right? So the auditions ebb and flow for me. And so sometimes when I haven't seen an audition from an agent in a while, I get a little concerned and I'm like, what's going on? So I'll reach out in those instances too. But I love that you reached out and then you got booked some more, which is great. But then what happens still to make you decide that they weren't for you?
Do you ever have like a relationship with a person or with a corporation or a company or with a client, and deep down inside you just feel like it's just not good. It just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily know if I know how to articulate it, but I will say, and this might be a little bit uncomfortable for you, but I have to keep it real. Taking into consideration all of the racial unrest that this country has had over the past year, I felt like I was...
You were or were not being selected because of that?
It's heavy, and I don't even know if...
Yeah.
I can't necessarily explain it, but she had an attitude, whereas, I do a lot for African Americans, and so you need to be thankful that you're getting whatever you're getting. Mm-hmm. It's heavy, and I'm not necessarily sure if it's even appropriate, but it just didn't feel good to me anymore. It felt toxic.
Yeah. So, but here's what I do like about that is that, number one, before you even mentioned any of what you just mentioned, you said that it was a gut. It was a feeling in your gut. And I am a huge, huge believer in, I run my life by my gut. And I think that you and I are very similar in those ways. I mean, I run every aspect of my business by my gut. And some people would say, well, that just seems like reckless. But in reality, it's never been wrong. When I feel it in my gut, it's never a wrong decision, and so
Your gut will never lie.
Yeah, it just doesn't lie, and so I completely respect the fact that you felt it in your gut. And of course, if you think that any relationship is toxic, no matter how it gets there, I think absolutely it's time to cut it off. It's first of all, it's for your health, for your mental health, your business health, your physical health. I think it really is a healthy decision to do that.
And I really must say, though, that I didn't just wake up one morning and say, hey, you're fired. Very extremely, apologetic. I was very grateful for that opportunity because, again, everybody doesn't have, the benefit or is fortunate enough, I should say, to have a New York agent or an LA agent. And so it was difficult, but I made sure that I was extremely professional. I was extremely grateful for the opportunity that was given to me over the years. And, she didn't respond after that.
Yeah, of course.
But, I also let her know that if any clients, in the interim decided to hire me, that I would definitely fulfill my obligation of, completing any projects and whatnot. But it's okay. It was very freeing for me to do so. It was a very mature thing for me to do so.
Absolutely.
But I feel good about, where my career is headed. I really do. I don't have an agent right now, by the way, but I'm
So any agents out there listening, Kesha is available and very, very talented.
I'm kind of talented.
She's kind of got it going on. I'm just saying. So she's kind of got a proven track record over here. But yeah, so then let's talk about, okay, so this was something that you now feel, okay, is it like this is a great decision or what? Now, how are you now in the aftermath? Are you feeling, okay, this is a good decision now in 2021, I'm going to be ready to hunt for I'm going to look for somebody new, or what is your plan of attack for
the
that?
Weird thing about that was that, again, before I did it, it was a hard pill to swallow. It took me months. I thought that I would do it, but then it took me months to actually do it, to get the courage to do it. Then when I did, I felt like, oh my God, am I making the worst decision of my life? But believe it or not, the past 6 months, I booked so much. Especially during this political season, girl, I worked so much. I literally went out and went to the doctor. I thought that I was losing my voice, which is a horrible thing. But I was actually experiencing vocal fatigue. I didn't even know what vocal fatigue was.
Yep.
That's how much I've worked. I made so much money in the past I made more money in the past 6 months than I've made over the past 3 years.
Wow.
No lie.
I'm sure there's lots of release the toxicity, right? And allow, it's like I did a segment on money blocks a while back. And it's very interesting because there can be all different types of money blocks. And, maybe your agent could be one of them. And so how interesting that when you let it go, that then money and business started flowing in freely. Now, can I ask you, do you have multiple agents or did you go out and have this from different contexts or connections that you already had? That's how you were getting the work. And then work begets more work sometimes. Especially when it's out there. And I know for a fact that, I've seen that explosion of work from the past 6 months, during the pandemic when we, we check our social media. So it's been great to see that from you. So where's the sources of that? Is that from network connections or other agents?
It's a combination of a few things. So although I don't have any, I don't have primary representation, I am on the rosters of a lot of smaller production houses. And so that in combination with, I'll have to shout this lady out. You know Maria Pendolino, don't you?
Of course I do. I love her. Maria's an amazing, powerful, smart female. I have nothing but love for her.
No words to describe this woman. Single-handedly, she decided, of course, with all of the craziness that's going on, she launched a collective called Blue Wave Voiceover.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know why she would ask me to be on that roster, little old me, but she did. She single-handedly, by allowing me to be affiliated with that collective, it changed my life. It shifted my career. Because, we're not going to get into politics, but you've seen what's going on out here.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to just say so much love to Maria for that launch.
Oh, my gosh.
By the way.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. So she got that off.
Well, look,
she got that off.
I am ecstatic. And so I'm ecstatic for you. You know what I mean? For that success. I love that Maria started that. And yeah, Maria, big shout out to you and thanks for all that you've done for the community. And I think it's great. I think, bosses out there, take a look, take a long, hard look at the relationships that you have with your agents, with your clients. And, I think it's always a good thing periodically to really see, are they serving you? Are they serving your business? Are they serving you, in not just, financially? Are they serving you like mentally? Are they serving you in the way that you want them to for joy? And I'm always about the joy and success of your career. And if not, well, Kesha, you gave us a wonderful, inspiring, example of how you can make it work for you. So
one quick add on, and then then we'll fly away. I would say, one final piece of advice would to make sure that your agent knows you. You know what I'm saying? Not only humanized, but knows what you're capable of. When they see that a client is requesting for, a television spot, for them to say, oh gosh, Kesha would be perfect for this. Find someone who's totally willing to exploit your talent. And I would say that would be the beginning of a beautiful relationship between you and an agent.
Good stuff. I love it. Kesha, thank you. Thank you so much for the inspiration. And bosses, take your relationships from your agents, your clients to heart. Take a look at them, see if they're serving you and your business, and make adjustments if necessary. So,
there you go. Don't be scared.
There you go. Well, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can sound like a boss and communicate like a boss. Find out more at IPDTL.com. You guys have an amazing week. Kesha, love you.
Yeah, love you.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Ann Ganguzza. And take your business to the next level. Sign up for our mailing list at voboss.com and receive exclusive content, industry revolutionizing tips and strategies, and new ways to rock your business like a boss. Redistribution with permission, coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.